Mr. President, we the people, our movement is the reason why our President of the United States is standing here in front of us today.
You take care of yourself.
So much.
You take care of yourself, okay?
I so appreciate you.
We're with our great military. These are great future leaders.
When President Trump promised all these things that he was going to do for us, I knew he was going to do this for us.
There is one more thing. Tonight we have a very special surprise. I am thrilled to inform you that your husband is back from deployment. He is here with us tonight, and we couldn't keep him waiting any longer.
Oh yeah, that's a groovy one. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Questions Worth Pondering, where we pose questions related to current and historical events. I'm your host, Nevs, and in today's episode was our question, bribes for votes? We have a question as to whether Michelle Obama's nonprofit activities that they put together are legal. And let's ask that question together. So I have some stuff to go over, and we'll go through some of that. So before we do, I just want to ask you guys if you would like to support me. You can definitely leave a Rumble rant on Rumble. I'm at Rumble on QWP. If you guys happen to be on a different platform, or you can subscribe on Rumble. I also have a link tree, and there's different ways to subscribe. I'm Nevs TV on Linktree, and all of my social medias here, Rumble. You can buy me a coffee, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, welcome everybody. Let's see who we've got in chat. We've got Herbie, we have Cindy, and Magnolia. So good to see you guys tonight. Thanks for joining. We have an interesting show tonight. At least I find it interesting. I'd like to know if you guys do too. But yeah, let's get into it, shall we? There was interview on War Room that just piqued my interest and caused me to want to do a little bit more research. And one of those things that where you just start going down a rabbit hole. And I'm not going to cover my whole rabbit hole, but I will tell you, this was a rabbit hole. This was a rabbit hole. But let me share with you some clips from the interview that piqued my interest, and then let's dig into some of the stuff that I found. I'd love to know what you guys think. I'd love to know if you guys have researched this, if you knew about it even. I was kind of surprised. I did not hear about this, although I guess I sort of did, and I'll talk about that after. But let me go ahead and start the interview. I may pause it to give some commentary, and I'm not showing the whole interview, just a portion of it. So, all right, this is Pete. Oh, what's his last name? Bernegger or Bernegger. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. This guy, I have to tell you, he has exposed a lot of shenanigans, and the powers that be, the establishment, has gone after him with lawfare. But let's go ahead and listen to what he has said on War Room.
Coordinate the vote for Democrats. You have a new exclusive dropping on Michelle Obama and how she's using, pizza to get Democrat voters out. If you want to walk us through that, the audience, I'm sure, would appreciate it.
Sure. Hello. Michelle Obama actually did this back in 2020 with good success for her getting people to show up and to vote, Democrats to vote at the polls. What they're doing is they have a nonprofit where they're supplying pizza, entertainment, food and drink of other types of food to get people to show up. The Democrats are targeting Democrats to get them to vote. And they're giving this free service, they bring food trucks in from out of state, license plates that we've seen in Wisconsin or from Portland, Oregon. And what they're doing is they're giving out bribes, because in the federal election, you cannot give even one single dollar of any type of incentive to do this. Now, the list has been expanded by Michelle Obama, and she's the one heading this up, to party at the polls and pizza to the polls. There's now 516 locations across the United States that are going to be giving out these free goodies, and they're targeting people ahead of time to bring them in, bring your friends in from these Democrat neighborhoods and come out and vote. So this is something that, in particular, the RNC, because of the national scale, should be all over this. And we tweeted it out on July 29th and then again on August 1st. And you can see it at Peter Bernegger on my Twitter feed. There's a.
All right, so I'm just going to pause it right there for a second. He talked about how he tweeted this out on his Twitter feed. Basically, what is happening is he talked about pizza at the polls, party at the polls. Basically, what's happening is there are events being put on and free food, free giveaways, free concerts, free entertainment in order to get people either to register to vote or to actually come out and vote. And the purpose behind it is, I mean, it's not a bad thing to try to get people out to vote. We want everyone to vote. But the problem is when you offer incentives to get people to register to vote or to vote, and those incentives are free anything, that is where the problem is. This is where the unethical and actually illegal activities are coming in that he's speaking of. And this is why he brought up the RNC. So before I continue, I'm going to quick pull up his X post that he's referencing. He posted on X, I'm going to add this really quick. he posted on X that the information on here, and as a reply to this video on Rumble, on Telegram, on Twitter, I will put a link to this post so you guys can go there yourself. He's got links in here. He talks about there's 500 party at the polls in the most Democratic precincts in 7 swing states. So before I continue his interview, I just want to go through this really quick, and then I want to explain why they're targeting Democrat areas. So one of the things he puts out here is the USC codes that are being violated under federal election bribery laws. So you'll be able to go there and look it up. And I do have links that I'm going to pull up after we look at the interview. So we will look at these, and then he talks about how Jay Stone is one of the patriots that actually has a lawsuit against Obama in Wisconsin. And Peter actually is in Wisconsin, and he's been fighting the good fight there. But there's a lawsuit out there to stop these illegal activities. He's got here that Pizza at the Polls uses food trucks to deliver bribes in the form of pizza, beverages, snacks, etc. There's also concerts, free concerts, events, stuff like that they can attend. They also bring out celebrities, different types of things like that. So federal election bribery laws prohibit a person or organization, regardless of whether you're a nonprofit or not, from providing anything of value to voters to vote. But that doesn't stop them. They've got food trucks. And like he said in that interview, the license plates were from Oregon, and he's in Wisconsin. So when they saw these in Wisconsin, it was a shock to them. And he said this was in 2020, but these party at the polls and pizza at the polls actually started in 2018. They went full swing in 2020. They continued in 2022 for the midterms, and they have plans for this 2024 election, which we'll be looking at in a little bit. And then it says, don't believe Pizza to the Polls nonpartisan claims. So what they say is they say they're a nonprofit and they have nonpartisan efforts that they put out there, or nonpartisan initiatives, they call them. All right. It also says to look at the cities that the food trucks visited. All of them had one thing in common. They voted heavily for Democrats. Now, here's the thing. The reason they're targeting Democrats is polls were indicating to them that the Democrats were not excited to vote. A lot of them likely weren't going to vote. So they wanted to come up with a way to get people out to the polls. So if it wasn't the candidate themselves, they needed to find another way since the candidates weren't doing it for them. And this is what they came up with. But unfortunately for them, well, it actually succeeded for them, actually. If you think about it, 2020 and 2022, they got a lot of people to register, and they got a lot of people to go out and vote. But the problem is, and we need to fight it, we need the RNC on this, we need RNC attorneys on this, is that it's not, potentially not, in my opinion, in his opinion, I'm not a lawyer, disclaimer, but it doesn't appear to be legal. Did you love the intro, Magnolia? I love the intro too. I thought it was pretty awesome. All right, so we're going to continue with his interview. But one thing before we do, he's got links here to Google Docs that show all the locations of where their locations are, and I've got more links than this. So he's also got a link to the complaint, the ICC complaints and lawsuits. I don't know that I pulled this up. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. I don't know that I bookmarked it, basically. But basically, he's got a link to this lawsuit from that Jay Stone, I think his name was, or Jeff Stone. All right, so let's finish listening to his interview, and then I've just got a ton to bring up and show you guys.
State and federal law, and I cite them in my tweets, whereby you can look them up and read them yourself. That for a federal election in particular, you cannot give anything of value to a voter to entice the person to vote or not to vote. And this is exactly what Michelle Obama is doing. She's providing live music in some instances. She's providing food trucks and free food, free drinks, and creating a party atmosphere. And they did it in 2020 here in Wisconsin, and kind of took everybody by surprise at the time. And thankfully, we've learned our lessons since then, a lot of our lessons, and Jay Stone has stepped up. And federal law and our state law in Wisconsin in particular ban giving anything of value to get a person to vote or not to vote. Why wasn't the RNC and the state GOP parties all over this Michelle Obama? It was pretty obvious. I mean, they set up early in the morning at multiple locations across the country on this pizza or party at the polls and pizza to the polls. So everyone knew they were there. And yeah, they did catch us off guard, but that's, I think, one of the functions of the RNC. They should have attorneys on the spot, if you will.
I'm muted, sorry. Yeah, his interview is what inspired me to start doing a bunch of research. And you know what's interesting? It's not just Michelle Obama's nonprofit. I want to dig into that, but also the Biden campaign, which Kamala took over, was also doing some interesting things.
And a group of Democratic donors are reportedly trying out, just wait for this, new party-style events to court young adults.
Okay, party-style events to court young adults. I wonder where they got that idea from. I'll continue this.
They include free beer, manicures, birth control pills, and a sweepstakes to win a month's worth of rent.
Bingo.
All right. To get people to the polls. This is getting a little ridiculous. And there's actually an article on this. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, Democrat donors. I thought it was the campaign, so I'm correcting myself. Democrat donors lure young voters to the polls using beer and birth control. Is that not crazy? Is that not crazy? All right, we'll get back to Michelle Obama, but like other people are trying it now. Now that it was so successful with Michelle Obama's organization, New York Times put out this article, Feel Inspired America. So this is from 2020. And they didn't even mention Michelle Obama, which is interesting. So I highlighted a few things here. First of all, it says there's so much to celebrate about our democracy, from record voter turnout to creative volunteerism. So creative volunteerism, this is their community organizing on steroids. They came from a background of community organizing, and that's what they're doing. And honestly, I'm all for getting people to the polls. So I want to keep stressing that's definitely a good thing. But the way they're going about it is pretty shady. All right, so here it says, in 2016, Scott Duncombe, a software developer in Portland, Oregon, saw the news that Cleveland restaurants had to wait hours in long lines to vote. Pay attention to that, hours in long lines to vote, because that is their talking point. That is what they're saying their reason for doing this is to feed people who are standing in long lines. And they don't want them to have to leave the line being hungry, so they'll stay in line if they feed them pizza. His heart went out to them. In Oregon, there are never any lines because everybody votes by mail. So he called up a pizza place in Cleveland and ordered a bunch of food to raise their spirits. The effort grew, and this year the volunteer-driven nonpartisan project, Pizza to the Polls, delivered more than 53,000 pizzas to polling places in 48 states. All right, so they were targeting all the states, and the thing of it is they didn't even mention, they mentioned this guy who was a software developer, but what they don't mention here is who funded it, and that is Michelle Obama, and she created a nonprofit organization in 2018, and that nonprofit organization was called When We All Vote. So I'm going to go to their, what is their website? 1 second. So when you go to their website, it is whenweallvote.org. So I'm just going to go there real quick. Now there's a couple of pictures that I'm going to want to, there's one picture I want to zoom into. All right, so they talk about registering to vote, check your voter registration, which is great. Make sure you're registered. I think everybody should do that. But then they've got this whole membership thing where they're pulling in volunteers and different things. And they are a nonprofit, 503c. And one of the things that I found on their website was this picture. Well, first, let me do well, that's the zoomed in picture. So one of the things that they have on there is what they call a vote lab. And this is their website. This is their vote lab. And one of the things, like they've got early voting. So one of the things they do as far as offering some free food is with the early voting, they go out to the early voting locations and try to draw people out to vote early, and they'll hold events or offer free food to get people out to vote early. And but the thing of it is, like if you zoom in, they've got this table that says free meals, and that's basically bribing people to get to the polls to vote. And yeah, so that's their vote lab. If you go to their website, you can go to the vote lab and you can see that. So I started digging in, and I went to like their X page. They have an X page, and I just started going through some of these things. They say they're nonpartisan, but a lot of what they push out there is very partisan, ideological, leftist-leaning stuff. Like one of I'll have to see if I can find it, but in one place they talk about climate, racism, how voting is racist, like that they're against the Georgia votes and that kind of stuff. So if you go through here, you can see a lot of their things, like this post right here. I'm like, what the heck is this? They have a hashtag of Black Boy Joy. It's like, well, what is that? Anyway, but they have different initiatives under their nonprofit, and here's a good example. They talk about FDR and Social Security law and national pension programs and unemployment, federal assistance. So that's the kind of stuff that they put out there. The other thing that they have as under their moniker here is they have all these like gimmicky programs that they put in place. This one is called Vote Loud, and it's to get a challenge to kids at a university to go out and get people registered to vote. So I'm just going to go
get organized.
Yeah.
Hello, HBCU students. The midterms are coming up.
No, I don't mean your exams. Election season is quickly approaching, and this year your vote could not be more important.
Because right now, the right to vote is under threat.
There are people out there who are working.
That's the other thing they do. They say the right to vote is under threat. They say that all these election integrity laws are going against black people, and that they are making it harder for people to vote. I'm going to go over the Georgia election changes that recently came up, and it's interesting because I really want to know. It shows exactly what was crossed off, exactly what was added, and I want to know, how is that a bad thing? How does that prevent somebody from being able to vote? It's pretty interesting because one of the complaints was Georgia, but this ad is from 2018. They were trying to get people out for the midterm votes. So they used these programs, and then they put in place events and free items to get people out. So they might have days during early voting, that kind of stuff. I'll finish this ad and then I'll move on.
Day in and day out to make it harder for communities of color, people with disabilities, and young people like you to cast their ballots.
And that means there's only one thing for us to do, starting right now.
Get organized.
That's why I am proud to help launch Vote Loud,
a competition where you bring together a squad to get your campus and community registered and ready to vote.
A competition. So what is the reward of that competition? Anyway, I'll continue.
Sign up to make sure your HBCU is a part of Vote Loud at whenweallvote.org.
because in times like these, it's up to us to squad up and get everyone we know to vote loud.
All right. So one of their, in 2018, I found on the archive, because I can't find it anymore on their live site. And let's see if this loads up. We will see if it loads up. It might take a minute, but basically I'll set it up while it's trying to load. Maybe stop sharing and then try to get it to load. There we go. There was, for some reason, when I stopped sharing, it loaded right away. All right, Party at the Polls, National Voter Mobilization, Education Registration Year of Action. So there's this Party at the Polls, and the Party at the Polls are different events that might have free food, free drinks. There might be somebody there, like a celebrity or something like that. And then, let's see, pop-up party at the polls, a movie party, so they get a free movie, another party to the polls. And if you look, it's in all of these different states where they had their party to the polls, get out the vote events. And again, I'm probably gonna say this a million times, trying to get people out to vote, knocking on door to door, saying how important it is to vote. Absolutely wonderful. As soon as you start giving them something to go vote, that's where it's not good. Hey, Craig, I see you joined us. Thanks for joining. All right. And then I've got on their website, When We All Vote, they have, this is for this year. This is September 7th. I was trying to figure out what this was. I was looking at their events for this year, and they don't have a bunch up, and this was up there. And it says that with the support of our Sharp Education Consulting, oh so powerful, and community members, we are hosting our second annual Lee Harvard block party. So they're doing some kind of block party. And I tried to see where it was. But the location says this event's address is private. So you have to sign up in order to get the details of the event. But basically what they said is they're going to provide live entertainment, free music, free food, and public history programming, whatever that means. We'll be registering people to vote at this event. So again, it's giving them something to get them out there, which is bribery, period. So I started looking into, wait, what is this? I might have forgotten to, oh, this is just that Vote Loud thing that we already looked at. All right, so I may as well cover this. So the Hill in 2022, before I get to the parent company, because I want to cover who the parent company is, and they have different nonprofits under them. So in 2022, the Hill posted this: Michelle Obama launching voter registration challenge aimed at historically black colleges and universities ahead of the midterm elections. So again, there wasn't a lot of excitement for people to go out and vote, and usually in the midterms that is the case. And basically, this is when that Vote Loud type thing came about. But here's the thing. So that initiative from that Vote Loud came from When We All Vote, which is Michelle Obama's nonprofit. And it distributed $3,000 grants to students across the country to support their nonpartisan voter registration. So they basically had grant money that they gave out to get people involved, to get people registered to vote. They called them squads, and it said the student groups or squads with the most creative and culturally relevant ideas will be eligible to win campus events and activations with celebrity appearances in partnership with BET. So this is the draw. All right. So I think that's all I had highlighted on that page. But I do want to get to the parent company because the parent company is called Civic Nation. So that's the parent company of Michelle's nonprofit, her nonprofit, which is called When We All Vote. So right on the front page of this parent company is Michelle Obama. And they've got on here that they are a nonprofit ecosystem. So the thing that I found interesting is as I was digging into Michelle and that nonprofit, I'm like, they're linked to this, they're linked to that, they're linked to this, and this, and this. And I'm like, there's hundreds of nonprofits or NGOs that are either referenced or linked to or they're partnering with. And these leftist organizations there's so many. There's so many of them. I don't even know how we can keep track of what they're doing and who they are, but I'm going to point out a couple of them. But I wanted to point out this parent company of Michelle's particular nonprofit first. Civic Nation, I do think the Obamas probably run this. I'm not 100% sure. But Barack Obama did a video for them for this, which I'm going to show you guys. And Michelle's right here on the front. So, all right, it says they have 56,000 volunteers mobilized, 100 million Americans educated about voting, 1,300 media, corporate, and nonprofit partners. 1,300 corporate, media, and nonprofit partners. That is a ton. That is a ton. All right. So what they say their umbrella is this organization called All In. The Change Collective is the video I found with Barack Obama. It's on Us is another one. Have you guys heard of any of these? Educated or indoctrinated? I think indoctrinated. I think that's it. Thank you, Dorkbot. Another one's called Save on Student Debt. When We All Vote is Michelle's. And then We the Action. So I'm going to play Barack Obama's little ad. And the funny thing is, I went to the YouTube channel where this was posted. And that YouTube channel for this Civic Nation has like 40 followers. It's so low. It's ridiculous. All right.
Is changing. But I still believe there is more that unites us than divides us. And that's because I believe in the power of community. Our physical communities, from neighborhoods and schools to offices and churches, bring us together. And they give us a reason to work together, even when we don't always see eye to eye on everything. That's why I'm excited to share the launch of the Change Collective, an initiative that will develop, connect, and elevate change makers across the country who are already working to strengthen their communities. It's a way to bring emerging leaders from different identities and backgrounds together and help them build relationships and solve problems in their communities. Because real change happens one person, one community, one connection at a time.
So Barack Obama. So these nonprofits that are very partisan, even though they say they're nonpartisan, feel almost illegal. Like, I don't know that you should be able to be a nonprofit if you are having those types of activities that are geared toward liberal, progressive ideology and certain viewpoints and agendas. So that was Barack. He is leading this Change Collective here. Anyway, so the Civic Nation has a 2024 roadmap. And a lot of what they reference in their document here, this is their impact report from 2023. And they put out their plans for 2024. I'm trying to remember what page it was on. Was it this? Yeah. Here it is. Look ahead to 2024. So they want to reach Black, brown, and young voters. They've got, they said Civic Nation's turnout programming works. And that's really Michelle Obama's turnout programming. So of those we engaged with our voter registration tool, 64% turned out to vote, an 18-point increase over the national turnout rate of 46%. Now, here they talk about party at the polls. Our party at the polls consistently increases turnout. In 2022, when We All Vote held 200 plus party at the polling locations across the country, target voters in communities where a party was held had an estimated 2.7% increase in their probability of voting. They say that they're going for the hardest to reach, low propensity voters, but basically what they're actually targeting are people who are likely not to want to go out and vote. And so their plans for 2024 are to launch a national coalition of more than 1,000 organizations. And you saw on their parent page, they already have like 1,500 organizations with a coalition of corporations and nonprofits. They're going to use innovative, and evidence-based direct voter contact. That is, look at this, through texting sweepstakes. I don't even know if sweepstakes are legal, so that must be a new thing for this year, doing sweepstakes. Activate our talent, music, sports and entertainment, and media partners. It says they're infusing voting into cultural moments, but like those free concerts and whatnot, that's just basically giving them something to get them out. And hosting party at the polls events at early voting locations. Notice they want to go to early voting locations. So conservatives should go out and get their free pizza maybe. Would they die if a bunch of conservatives and patriots went out and got free pizza from them and they ended up spending their money on patriots? That would be pretty awesome. You guys need to go do that. You need to go do that. All right. So they want to start engaging high school students and students on college campuses and deploy tens of thousands of volunteer lawyers. Tens of thousands. What's going on? What have our elections become, guys? What have they become? It's interesting that they want to target the young voters and great idea, Nev's, free pizza. That's right, Herbie. That's what we got to do. If they want to, go help people, we should go there and let them help us. Go get your free pizza, guys. Anyway, the young voters, that's the interesting thing because do you guys remember what, do you remember what Kamala said about the young people? And yet the Democrats are trying to hit the young people.
Other thing we know about this population, and it's a specific phase of life. Remember, age is more than a chronological fact. What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid.
She is stupid. She is stupid, but she's trying to bribe the kids. They're trying to, they wanted to pay off student loans.
Under the Federal Work Study program, now allows students to get paid through Federal Work Study to register people and
now through Federal Work Study, they're going to pay students to get people registered to vote. That's a little different. That's not bribing people to register to vote, but still. They're going for the young people, but Kamala said they were kind of dumb. And remember Biden wanted to pay off all the student loans. That didn't quite work out. Even Pelosi, I think, said that student loans, the president doesn't have that authority to do that. All right. So I'm going to start getting into some of the other connections. Let me just see what I want to pull up here. Well, actually, I'm going to talk about their narrative a little bit. That's what I'm going to do. Not a lot, but I do want to highlight the fact that they're doing a look here, not there. So one of the things, like this headline says, Pizza to the polls aims to feed hungry 2020 voters stuck in long lines. So this has been their narrative. They bring pizza to Democratic polling stations, and it's to keep them in line to make sure they vote, and it's also to get people there to make sure they vote. That's bribing. So, Magnolia, targeting voters to manipulate and control the vote. That's right. That's exactly what they're doing. Actually, I should bring up the IRS nonpartisan rules because, there's a couple of things that I highlighted on here. Let me make it big so you guys can see it good. I'm not sure how well you can see it on Rumble or YouTube, Twitter. All right. So this is about the ban on political campaign intervention by 501c3 organizations, get out the vote activities. So it says, can 501c3s conduct voter registration, get out the vote drives? And it says, yes, they can. But it has to be neutral, nonpartisan, and without reference to any candidate or political party. So that's what they're trying to claim. They're trying to claim that they are neutral, nonpartisan, but obviously, I mean, it's so obvious. They're very partisan. And it says, however, voter education or registration activities conducted in a biased manner that favors or opposes one or more candidates is prohibited. So they're claiming they don't do that. So then it just says that they are subject to tax if they expend funds for a voter registration drive that doesn't meet whatever requirements are listed in that code that they reference. All right. Influencing elections and carrying on voter registration drives. So this is also regarding nonprofits. All right. So I've highlighted a couple things here. Conducting or paying expense of conducting a voter registration drive limited to the geographic area covered by the campaign. Well, basically, I guess for a national campaign, they're national. So, but exceptions described in the code. So its activities have to be nonpartisan, and they're not confined to one specific election period and are carried on in at least 5 states. So they have to, not just go to Illinois, basically. If you're a national election and you're getting a nonprofit and you're getting tax exemptions, then you have to be in at least 5 states. So they did. They targeted mostly the swing states, and they were able to do that, and that's the requirement here. All right, and then let's see. I've got frequent. Oh, I don't know if I hit everything here. Hang on one second. Oh, I did. All right, and then under the frequently asked questions, was I already here? Oh, yes. This is what I already covered. Okay. So that's it. I just wanted to cover the IRS. So they're supposed to be nonpartisan, but Michelle, where is that? I think oh, here it is. Yeah. Michelle, the nonpartisan.
What's going to happen in this next election? I am terrified about what could possibly happen because our leaders matter. Who we select, who speaks for us, who holds that bullied pulpit. It affects us in ways that sometimes I think people take for granted.
Not only that, she has these nonprofits, and she openly came out with her husband to support Kamala. So, or Kamala, or however you're supposed to say. Shenanigans, that's right. That's right, shenanigans. That's what's going on here. All right, so I want to quick... Do I want to go into the other... Yeah, I'm going to go into some of the related organizations, and then I want to talk about how they are paying people for other things that feels like it should be illegal. And then they've been complaining about Georgia. I want to talk about that Georgia law too. So I'm going to quick move on here. Let's see. Where is this? Here it is. All right. So one of the things that that Michelle Obama has been partnering with, I never heard about this. I want to know if you guys have heard about this organization, the Global Black Economic Forum. Have you guys heard about this? It's a global Black Economic Forum. So it just makes me think of the World Economic Forum. It's like they have a World Economic Forum for blacks. Can you imagine having a global white economic forum? I can't even imagine that. So basically, this is Michelle Obama is definitely involved in this, as are all of the very partisan, progressive elites and establishment. So one of the things that they did, that they put out there is, well, let me just talk about Michelle being connected to this a little bit. So they partnered. Michelle Obama's When We All Vote, they did a voter engagement partnership. This is 1 month ago. This is for this year. So this Global Black Economic Forum and Michelle Obama's nonprofit, they're partnering, they're getting together. This is what started me down the rabbit hole, was this organization that I found, this Global Black Economic Forum. I'm like, oh my goodness. There's so many, like I couldn't stop the rabbit hole. So I'm not going to cover all the different organizations, but this is one of them. And it's kind of incredible. So one of their projects they have is called Paint the Polls Black. So just like the the projects under Michelle Obama's nonprofit, this just sounds the same, you know. Paint the polls black. So basically they're trying to get all the black people to register to vote. You have heard of it? Did you dig into it, Magnolia? I might need to talk to you, because I might need to do a follow-up on this. Maybe we can collab. But yeah, this so they have this project that's very similar to Michelle Obama's. And the other thing that I discovered when I was looking up some of the connections and partnerships that Michelle Obama's nonprofit was doing, it's just, I don't know, it's just all connected. So one of the things is, oh, how do I go here? Let's see. Well, this is something that was in the news recently that you all probably did see, that a Michigan nonprofit is sending out voter registration mailings with images of Michelle Obama. So this was all over the news this week. This was all over social media, not the news. Did the news cover that? No, unless they wanted to maybe fact check or debunk these things. But this is from the Gateway Pundit. But basically, it's a nonprofit in Michigan sending out voter registration mailings. Leading report broke this, saying that Michelle Obama's picture was on these voter registration things. So they sent these forms, and it's like to have her picture right on the form, right on a voter registration form. It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. All right, so the Voter Participation Center is a left-of-center voting registration nonprofit that was founded in 2003 as Women's Voices, Women's Vote, which took me to I noticed some narrative going on with these nonprofits that are all connected and all related to voting, and it's a lot. But the narrative is the new American majority. I'm going to do another show on the new American majority, guys. That is something that, well, I might have to go back to that article. The new American majority is they want to change our nation. They do not want white people to be the majority anymore. The new American majority is not just the future of the Democrat Party, it is the now of the Democrat Party. These women not only fuel Democratic victories as organizers and voters, but continue to be some of the most exciting candidates on the ballot. This happens to be, I don't know if this is an actual organization called this, but it's actually a narrative they're putting out. Oh, you said you have not heard of it. Oh, sorry, Magnolia. I totally misunderstood you. Sorry about that. So this new American majority, I don't know if this video is worth playing.
There is a shift happening.
Yes.
America is changing. By 2045, this nation and its communities will be completely transformed.
In fact, it's already begun.
We are at an inflection point.
And the rise of the new American majority
Is much closer than we think.
But who are we? Who is this new American majority?
We are not just the future.
We are the now.
Black women,
brown women, indigenous women,
Women of color,
young women,
LGBTQ plus women,
and unmarried women who make up a growing number of this nation's population.
These are the faces of the new American majority.
We will determine the direction of this country.
It's time for our country to recognize us,
To see our power, to hear our voice.
The truth is, we have always been here,
changing the conversation
and fighting for a brighter future.
So march with us.
Reach out to us.
Engage with us.
And follow our lead.
We are the faces of the new American majority.
The new American majority.
We are coming.
We are ready to serve,
to lead,
to advocate,
to run,
to win. We matter because our communities deserve better.
We deserve to see ourselves reflected in the seats of power.
This is not only a moment.
This is our movement.
Our time is emerging.
And we are ready.
And they mean it, guys. They mean it. They mean what they say. Yeah, this new American majority, I started digging into this. Oh my gosh, you guys. I have to have a separate show for that. I don't know what you think about all of that, but it's all connected. It's all connected. So there is this Democracy Alliance this Democracy Alliance says that they have a vision and power as a progressive majority. It's a profound reaffirmation of our determination, not simply to preserve our democracy, but to build it into the vibrant, just, multiracial democracy we know it must become. So I am not in the least bit racist. I think we should all be colorblind. But to have an agenda of taking over to be the new majority, what does that mean exactly? That's what I'm going to delve into in a future show. Because we are talking about bribes for votes tonight. But I wanted to talk about how it's all connected and how they have all of these nonprofits to try to fill their agendas, and they're all over the place, like little. I don't even know. I don't even want to say what I'm thinking in my head, guys. I don't even want to say what I'm thinking. But they want to remake America's electorate. This is Restoration of America. Gosh, I might run out of time. I'm going to quickly go through this. They want to save democracy by, let's see, ensuring people vote, dubbed Saving Democracy by the Left. Sounds innocuous, perhaps even admirable, but it may also be flat out illegal. Weaponized charity. This is what I was talking about earlier, this weaponized charity. They are taking advantage of our nonprofit charitable organizations. And down here I've got highlighted that the law even prohibits nonprofit registration drives that have the effect of boosting one party over another. And that's what they're doing. They're targeting a certain demographic to get the Democrat vote out. So they could lose their tax exemption, but I'm not a lawyer. We need lawyers to be going after these people. All right. I'm just going to finish going through my highlighted part here. What they're talking about here is special counsel on election law for Thomas More Society. He explained the challenge of litigating against biased registration to Restoration of America. He said eventually the U.S. Supreme Court will have to rule whether urban cities and public universities can lawfully use 503c3 funds for political purpose identified, which is voter registration campaigns targeted to progressive voters. It's illegal. Until then, groups will continue to operate like it's the Wild West, and that's what it feels like. At the heart of this election machine is a pair of DC-based nonprofits. We've got Voter Participation Center and Center for Voter Information. They share a common founder, Paige Gardner, who registered voters for Hillary Clinton 2008 presidential primary campaign. And and it says, of course, single women are just one part of the new American majority. I highlighted that because that's their euphemism for likely Democrat voters. Anyway, yes, I want to call this out. So these organizations that I just mentioned, they mail out tens of millions of partially pre-filled in voter registration applications. How are they even legally allowed to pre-fill them in? That's the other thing. All right, and let's see. One of the things that they call out here as part of their efforts is that it can reveal which registered voters are no longer active at their current address, which can be open and rife for voter fraud. This is a very long article. I'm going to see if there's anything I highlighted. Okay, I'm done there. So what I'm going to do is, I covered the Global Black Economic Forum. So I'm happy. Good. I'm glad I got that one. All right. So one thing I noticed is very similar to, I only have one. Maybe I'll bring it up. It reminds me of Zuck Bucks. You remember the Zuckerberg bucks that a lot of people feel like changed the election with those dollars that went out? And they gave grants to a bunch of people. Well, we've got this Center for Tech and Civil Life. And this is what was Zuckerberg, what the Zuckerberg program did. And I believe this organization is the parent organization for the Zuckerbucks. So my question is is Zuckerberg still giving to this organization, and do we still have millions of dollars going in besides Michelle Obama's efforts? They've got rural and non-metro election infrastructure grant program. They're going after the heart of America, it looks like. So I need to look into this more. I haven't looked into it a lot. I haven't had a lot of time to look into this, but I wanted to call that out. And let's see what else I got here. Okay. Yes, I'm going to very quickly talk about the new Georgia law. I'm actually going to go through the text quick. I want to point out the things that changed. So the stuff that's crossed out is the stuff that was taken out. And we'll talk about the stuff underlined is the stuff that was put in. And then I have a question. How does this harm people? Because the left is going nuts over this Georgia bill that was passed. First of all, they removed the Secretary of State from the Board of Elections. So the Secretary of State was a non-voting member on the board, and they took the Secretary of State off, to not be involved at all with the election board, which makes sense, to keep the autonomy there and not have pressure from the Secretary of State to decisions from the board. The other thing that was added is they added some definitions here, which I'm not going to go through the definitions. I read through them, but I want to highlight a couple of other new things. So they have new wording added regarding presidential electors. So here it says, notwithstanding any provision of the law to the contrary, any political party or political body which has obtained ballot access in no fewer than 20 states or territories for office of presidential electors shall be allowed to qualify candidates. So basically it's saying if you're on the ballot as president and you're on the ballot in 20 states or more, then you get to have electors. And so the left didn't like that. They were complaining about that. I don't know how that hurts anybody or how it prevents somebody from voting. The other thing, this is what they're really screaming about. So this is not a big deal, but basically homeless people now have to have their address. They have to be registered at the office of the county in which the person resides. So it needs to be the county's office, and I have no idea what homeless people were registered. Like maybe they were at shelters, and the shelter maybe had hundreds of people, so they changed it so that people literally had to register with their county if they're homeless. If a person registers to vote in another state, county, municipality, or legislative district of any type, that person is deemed to have changed his or her residency, so they can no longer vote. They're complaining about this. So if somebody registers to vote somewhere else, why are they complaining about it? You shouldn't be able to be registered to vote in two different places, should you? I don't think you should be. If a person returns... and then this allows them to re-register. So if they go back to their original address or they have a new address, they can go and re-register. And then proof of ownership or rental of a post office box or private mailbox within a particular jurisdiction will not be sufficient grounds to establish a person's residency. This tells me that in the past, if somebody had a P.O. box, they could use a P.O. box for their address. That's not going to be allowed anymore. Knock, knock, it's common sense, right? It's just common sense. That doesn't prevent somebody from voting. And that's what they're trying to claim. That is what they're trying to claim. I'm trying to see if there was something else I wanted to highlight. There's a national change of address program information that can be used, but it can't be the sole reason for for pushing back and not counting somebody's vote, but it still can be challenged. But the vote would be counted and it would be adjudicated later, which seems fair. And that, I think, is what this is all about. There's information about challenging an elector and that kind of stuff, but I think I highlighted the big stuff that I wanted to cover. I just want to make sure here. Yeah, this is about not being able to pretty much work for or know somebody or have your family work for suppliers like that supply the machines or the ballots or anything like that. Oh, this is kind of a big deal. They're not allowing any QR codes on ballots anymore. No coding of any sort. So the official tabulation count has to be based on the marks on the ballot. I had no idea that the scanners used any kind of QR code on the ballots in the past. There's a lot I didn't know. Reading this updated bill was kind of eye-opening for me. So that one was kind of interesting. So there, I'll put a link to this. You guys can go through it if you're interested. I'm not going to go through the rest of it, but I did want to just quick point out a couple of other things. People are being paid to be at rallies. So we've got, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the organic and joyful Democrats. Buying votes and paying people to be at their rallies. So they put out ads for ad campaigns to get people to compensate for coming to rallies and looking for Latino swing voters for an ad campaign. So they wanted an ad campaign to get Latino voters, but they also, I thought this one was for the rallies. What is this one? Oh, they want to pay social media influencers to, that's what this was. Yeah, these influencers, there's some whistleblower influencers that came out and shared that they were offered a lot of money to say they endorsed Kamala, to talk about the Democrats on their social media posts, and that they would pay them, get paid to support national politics. This is a little bit blurry, but this is a copy of an email. Is this even legal? So that's my question I had. I'm kind of curious if this is even legal. So I'm not sure. So I wanted to point that out. Also, Kamala tried to buy voters through paying off student loans, and they had offered to cancel student loan debt, but that didn't quite work out for them because, you know. But end wokeness. They posted this, you know, at the beginning of April about Kamala wanting to cancel student debt. And, oops. Sorry, I'm going quick because I know we're kind of past time. But yeah, they're sending out, they were sending out emails promising to cancel student loans. Oh, did you see today? Did you guys see today? What was that? Oh, Kamala's economic policy. She wants to offer $25,000 toward a down payment on a house for first-time home buyers. I mean, that's that's not the smartest thing in the world. That's actually really stupid. I saw that right before I got on the show. I saw the headline for that, and I'm like, oh, that's really kind of silly because what's going to happen? Prices of homes are going to go up so they can get that money. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that that's going to do anything except raise the prices of the homes. What do you guys think about that? Did you guys hear about that? I read it quick before I got on the show tonight. All right, I have some good news, and oh, I forgot to do my. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do my my little agenda thing. Whoops. There's my agenda. Okay. Yeah, I didn't do my agenda. I'm still getting with the program here about how I want to organize the show. Sorry about that. I do have really good news though that I want to share. Not really good. It's not my good news. It's just I want to end on a positive note because it was kind of a lot tonight. So, this is so cool. This guy heard some stuff out in his yard, and he ran outside. It's a teacher in Texas. He ran outside his house, obviously in his underwear, to rescue a girl who was about to be assaulted. So it's pretty cool. So a quick thinking Texas middle school teacher, he's hailed a hero. He grabbed his gun. He went and saved a 15-year-old girl from an assault. So it was 12:30 in the morning. She got off a bus, and she went into a gated apartment complex, and somebody followed behind her. And then he heard the girl screaming for help outside of his apartment. He looked. He saw a man beating up a woman on the ground, trying to take her clothes off. So what he did, he ran back in his house. He got a gun. He said he was scared. But he grabbed his gun and ran outside to confront the attacker. And pretty cool. I ran outside. I asked what's going on. The girl screamed, "I'm 15, help me." I pointed the gun at him and told him to get off her. So he rescued that girl. And it was cute because he said that he was scared. He was scared, but he did it anyway. He said, "I thought she was going to get raped. If he didn't come out, he is pretty sure she would have gotten raped." So, so this is a hero. That's good news for the day. I love hearing about that kind of stuff because we don't hear, what's happening these days is a lot of people just aren't getting involved. They're not getting involved at all. So I think I forgot to show a couple videos, but that's okay. But I hope this was eye-opening for you. It was quite an interesting topic. I'm not done going down that rabbit hole, but I'm not sure how much more I will unless somebody wants to collab with me and continue. I do want to follow up with the majority thing and maybe do a follow-up before the election on that one. But yeah, let me know what you think. And let me put up my little social media here. You guys can follow me on X at Nevs TV, on Truth Social at Nevs, and Telegram is Nevs channel. That's where my largest audience is on Telegram. I'm so happy you all joined, and I don't know. I just found this to be unreal. I want to expose it. I'm going to put these videos out there. I hope you guys share them. I'll post them on all the social media channels. So wherever you're watching from, if you could repost and just get the info out about these bribes and Kamala. I'll try to make it short so it's like easy to consume and share. But I think it's important that we expose these people. I don't even need credit. If you want to just download the video and repost it somewhere, I don't care. I just want to get the yes, so thankful he protected her. What a hero, right? Isn't that pretty awesome? It is pretty awesome. But yeah, so I'll be posting those maybe some tonight, maybe some tomorrow. And yeah, I look forward to it. So thank you everyone for joining. It was a long show. Sorry about that, but we'll try to make it shorter next time. And we'll see you next Tuesday for sure. I'm not sure if I'm going to do meme wars this weekend or not. If somebody is interested in doing that show with me and rating memes on the weekend sometime, let me know. Reach out to me. You can private message me or just comment on one of my posts. I'll see it. So thanks, guys. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.
I can see clear.